Well, hello and welcome, guys. This is Raven, and I want to talk today about my top 5 cards from Lost Thunder. Of course, and you may not agree with those cards. Those cards are my top 5 that I'm gonna be looking forward to receive on my pre-release and then later in the packs. Of course, I have to cut down some card that I would really want to have on this list, but I think the one that I'm gonna choose, they work the best for me and my decks and my ideas, but also some of those may change some stuff in standard. That's why you're gonna see certain cards and not the others that are obvious cards. For example, on my top 5 there will not be the Prism Stadium, which helps a lot for Rayquaza deck. The same goes to Electric type GX. Not because they're not good, but they're not working for me. They're not great for what I am expecting for a card, but they are great addition to their colors. So, for example, like those two cards that I've just mentioned are fantastic for Rayquaza, but they are not as good as the 5, at least for me. They're not as good as 5 that I'm gonna show you, and the ones that I'm gonna show you, I hope they're gonna have an impact on the current standard, which will change the way people think about standard. Okay, so first card, like I'm gonna go to the window. The window is gonna be right here, or rather I'm gonna be here, so we're gonna look at the browser. So the first card that I want to show you, the first card is a Sceptile GX. I have to like do it like that. Okay. I know we have a Japanese version on screen, but don't worry, I'm gonna read you what is he doing. So we've got the first attack, one grass energy, which reads 60 damage, discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, simple as that. 60 energy, discarding special energy, so you know, your rainbow energy, your DCE, all of that gets discarded. Really cool against, like, you know, Sylveon decks or the decks like Greninja that are using a lot of DCE. Then for 2 green energy we have Leaf Cyclone, which says 130 damage, move energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemons. I think there's a lot of room to actually play around it and to play with it. Like, let's say you have a lot of energy, you think, oh, I'm gonna draw a baton, then you know the energy is gonna go. Maybe you're not drawing that. You just want to get the energy onto one of your bench because one of your bench is building up. For example, Rayquaza, maybe that. So this attack may see a lot of play. And again, the GX is, oh boy, GX is really, maybe it's not the best one, right? But heal all the damage from each of your Pokemon with an green grass type energy attached to them. So not only it heals you, like, you know, like Mr. Mime only heals himself, but this heals every Pokemon that has a grass energy attached to it. In my opinion, really good for like a Lysopod deck. And I think this may see a lot of play, a lot of brewing, and that's why I've chosen it. I know there's some better GXs, like, you know, the electric type, but I think, you know, this might see more brewing than the electric type one, even though electric type 1 in my opinion, and the fire type that we're not going to see on this list are also going to be played heavily. And again, 230 health, so the same amount as Greninja, and we know this is hard to get because, you know, Sylveon GX only deals 110 damage, so you have to attack for once, then second time with, let's say, Choice Band or Kukui. Not necessarily, you know, one hit wonder, you would say. It's hard to kill with one hit. Not impossible. You can have Gardevoir, you have different decks that can deal that amount of damage. You have, you know, Garbodor, but 203 HP definitely puts this GX right there for me on top. Probably will try to brew something with it, and, you know, having Sceptile in the previous set, Celestial Storm, I was like, Sceptile, but this puts Sceptile back onto my map, especially with his previous editions, like, you know, Grovyle with the ability, once you're going to turn before you attack, you may search your deck for a grass energy, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. Okay, let's go further. We've got a Wobbuffet. We've got a Wobbuffet. Why I chose Wobbuffet? Just because I think it's one of the most interesting abilities and might actually this card see some play because of the ability, which reads, as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, each player Prism Star Pokemon can attack and has no abilities, which means Buzzgarb Diancie out of the way. We've got, the new stadium that's coming out, the Prism, out of the way. No, it's Pokemon, so yeah, the stadium stays. But especially hitting Diancie, I think this set hits Buzzwole Lycanroc really hard. Not being able to use Diancie for this extra damage hurts them badly. Again, some decks use Volcanion. Again, not able. Arceus, not able to use their abilities. And the fact that it can stay on the bench, this is going to be Sudowoodo type of card, which you're not necessarily you're not necessarily using it in the same color scheme of the deck you have, but it's really good to just have it, and especially with the Prism cards like Celebi that's coming out in this set as well. So neutralizing Celebi, a really great card. Let's read the attack. It's 30 plus, and it says knock away, that's the attack, and it says 30 damage. Flip a coin, if heads this deck does 30 more damage. Nothing special, retreat cost 2, so I think this is gonna be played a lot with like Malamar decks. Definitely a great addition to a Malamar deck that are facing Buzzwole Lycanroc deck, and I think especially this set hits hard on Buzzwole Lycanroc, and you will see in the next card in number 3, 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3, I would say, because those are 3 cards that I chose. They hit hard on this Buzzwole Lycanroc kind of thing. So, Wabafet! Definitely great supporter Pokemon, great card to have on your bench. Hopefully we'll see some plays if you're gonna hit him on your pre-release. Really think about putting it in a Malamar deck testing it, brewing it. Definitely gonna be a Sudowoodo type of card, if you know what I mean. Okay, let's go to our number 3.1, 2, and 3, which are the charms. The charms. When I've seen the charms, I was super hyped for them, and the more I read about the charms, the more I'm happy about them. I know they're not preventing all the damage, they are preventing the damage from GX and EX. But can you imagine how they can change the meta? How they can change how the decks are looking? Like, we've got a baby Ninetales and Hoopa, which were annoying. And let's say that now every Pokemon can be as annoying as them. Like, of course, they said here you've got a specific type, so you will not be able to, play them for every match type or, sideboard them. But definitely you will play the Fairy Charm, which is the fighting type. And every charm says prevent all the damage done to the Y Pokemon that this card is attached to by the attacks of your opponent's Pokemon GX and EX. You may play as many item cards as you like during your turn. That's a normal thing. Okay, so can you imagine how this changes the game? Especially for the fighting type, we also got a dragon type, which is Rayquaza. Imagine if you're playing this against Rayquaza. They have no answer. They don't know what hit them. And I think, here is the third one, because we got 3, and the leaf type. Not utilized that much. I think, the fighting type and the dragon are going to be used heavily, especially with our number 1 pick, which we're going to go and talk about later. So those trainer cards are going to see a lot of play, especially if you're able to draw them when you need. Because all you need is like one of those, right? You get, for example, Gardevoir, you put the charm that is against dragon type, and you're playing against Rayquaza. They have nowhere to go. Rayquaza is neutralized. They have to think differently. So I think, again, this set hits hard on both main decks. Like, I know Malamar is now the thing after Memphis, but this set hits hard on dragon type and on fighting type. It gives them some tools. It gives them some additions in case of the Rayquaza deck. But at the same time, it takes a lot from them. You know, we've got the Wobbuffet, as we said. You know, it's gonna destroy basically the Yansei, and at the same time, we've got a trainer card that destroys every Dragon type GX, which is Rayquaza. It's anti-Rayquaza card. Here is anti-Buzzwole, anti-Lycanroc deck. Great addition, I think. The fighting type is gonna be played less. I think everyone is gonna play this one. Everyone's gonna play the Dragon type, at least one in their deck. That's what I think. And hopefully I am right. Hopefully this is gonna see some play, because this will change the meta a lot. Not everyone is gonna use Rayquaza, and that is important. Of course, they're gonna go Vikavolt. They're gonna do some different brews, but this is the way to get rid of Rayquaza from the meta, or at least to get him down to tier 2. Fantastic way. I adore that they've done it. It's fantastic. Let's go to number 2. I don't remember what I've put on number 2, so let's both see. And number 2 is it is Tyranitar GX. As first, when I saw this card, I was like, okay, this is not looking good. Like, you know, you've got stage 2 Pokemon, which may be too slow. Not necessarily good. 250 health, okay. It's fine, but you know, it's weak to psychic type. It's weak to fighting type. It's weak. It has resistance to psychic type. Like, it's 3 retreat cost. I don't know if I want to play it. But then I started reading into a card, and I've started doing this on live stream. But and then I realized something. Like, this might see a crap ton of play. Because remember, you can eliminate the weakness if you play the charm, right? This is great. You're playing a charm on Tyranitar. Weakness is almost not there. Of course, you know, non-GX can still attack, but you know, Buzzwole can do crap, and others. But that's not what you want to do with this card. And I think that is the most important thing. You don't necessarily want to have him as your, you know, the main hitter, due to his ability, which says if one of your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out, and remember, one of your opponents, not active one, like, it doesn't matter which one, on the bench or active, it doesn't matter. From this Pokemon attacks, put that Pokemon and all cards attached to it into a lost zone. So not into a discard pile, into a freaking lost zone. And we know that there's no card that's taking back cards from the lost zone right now in the standard. So that basically gets rid of threats as they progress, as they're on the bench. And don't tell me you wouldn't, you know, love to send, let's say, I know I'm going to say that a lot, but Rayquaza into a lost zone with all this energy attached. So they are not able to use an energy recycler. They are not able to get the energy back. Fisherman, bam, can't do it. It's in a lost zone. They're like, okay, yeah, but you know, it's hitting like 30 damage on a bench. Okay. But hey, Vicious Sandstorm, it is costly. 2 dark type, 1 colorless, 130 damage. Okay, that should be, I think that should be 1 dark type and 2 colorless, like, you know, DCE could have been put on it, but it's fine. 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So again, this is gonna go, and I think this is gonna become a deck. Umbreon GX, Tapu Koko promo, maybe Henchcrow, and Tyranitar. Spread decks now have finally, they have the tool to be competitive. They have a tool, they have their main attacker. Because, you know, imagine this. You're playing, you know, Tapu Koko, you're dealing some damage, and all you need is like 30 damage, 20 damage, 10 to KO opponent's benched Pokemon, and they're putting stuff onto it, or, you know, this is their main hitter. Bam! Tyranitar, get out of here. Lost zone. Okay, but let's talk about a Smack It Down GX attack. 220 damage. This attack damage isn't affected by, of course, simple as that. 220, bam. get out of here. So you can come right in. Let's say they have Gardevoir. The Gardevoir is loaded, plenty of energy. When people play Gardevoir, they have like 5, 6 energy. You go with Tyranitar, maybe with a choice band attached to it. Play the GX, and all that energy, all the evolution chain, Lost Zone. You can't retrieve the energy from the discard pile. How amazing is that? So this is the card that I'm gonna brew like crazy. I will try to make it happen. We made it happen in Glacian, right? We've created Gardevoir deck. So why not try to play this, right? Especially, you know, when you again put a charm on it or some other attachments. I don't see why it shouldn't work. I don't see why it shouldn't work. Probably, you know, it's gonna get hard, but I think as the set gets more time and we get more comfortable with the Lost Thunder, we're gonna see this being played a lot. But now I'm gonna go to my number 1 pick. Are you ready? My number 1 pick is actually Alolan Ninetales GX Fairy type. But Raven, why did you pick Alolan Ninetales? Like it's not a great attacker. The GX it's okay. So why have you picked, like, you know, it's weak to metal. Why have you picked it? Remember, as I said to you, it's the same with Sylveon GX, the same with every evolution. Treat them as supporter Pokemons. And that's how I'm treating Alolan Ninetales. First, you have Alolan Vulpix with the beacon, so you get the draw, you get the card, the Pokemons you need to evolve yours. Second, again, Mysterious Guidance. When you play this card from your hand to evolve, right, you get to draw 2 item cards. Can you imagine this? You're drawing 2 item cards. So turn 2, you can have Gardevoir. Turn 2, you can have Tyranitar. Turn 2, you can have any stage 2 Pokemon. Because what are you gonna do? You're obviously, you know, playing. You're going for Ultra Ball and Rare Candy. That's your choice. Because you don't have to go and, you know, like Nest Ball. Oh, maybe I'm gonna draw something or whatever. No, you're exactly going for it. And other decks, you can go for Mysterious Treasure. You can go for anything that will help you draw the cards you need. Again, you can go for 2 charms. That's what I was saying, that there's a card that's gonna help you beat Rayquaza faster. Because let's say you only play one charm. Evolution, get the charm. Maybe get, you know, the Ultra Ball that you need. Maybe get the Nest Ball you need. Maybe get anything that you need, but you get the charm. Attach it. Your turn is not over after you draw those cards, right? You can still play. How cool is that? And I think many people will miss on that. And I know my choices are really weird, because when people look at this set, they are looking at different cards, and I'm really hyped for Tyranitar, which is not looking that good for many people, but for me it's amazing. And again, Alolan Ninetales. I've spoke to a lot of people about this Alolan Ninetales, and they're like, yeah, you can do it, but, you know, it's not that cool, you're not that good. But imagine this. Alolan Vulpix, he's being played everywhere, and it draws you the Pokemons. And whatever turn it is, and you're gonna evolve it into Ninetales, there's always gonna be need for items. And it helps you a lot. Whatever item you need at the time. Maybe you need a choice band, right? Like, how many games would be won if you only if you could have only drew a choice band? This is the option. This is the solution. And as a stage 1 Pokemon, it's a lot easier to evolve it. Of course, those are speculations. I don't think a lot of you is gonna use that on Ninetales, but I think if you would not use it, you miss a lot on the potential, especially in Sylveon deck or Gardevoir deck or any deck that is in the unit energy of the Fairy type. Or again, this might be a card that's the same as Sudowoodo, as Wobbuffet, which is just a supporter to draw those items. because this will help the consistency. And we're in the format where the consistency is more important than the Pokemons you have. And right now, and I see this trend right now, the less is more. So less Pokemons you have, the better the deck is. For example, you can look at Golisopod deck. You can look at a Sylveon GX deck. There's not a lot of Pokemons. There's not a lot of room for them. But that deck works because of the consistency. Because you want to play Nest Balls, you want to play all your Ultra Balls. You know, then you will be able to play their charms, whatever. Because drawing the exact card you need in the time that you actually need it is the most important. But then let's go to attack. Snowy Wind, 70 damage. This deck does 30 damage to one of your opponent benched Pokemons. Again, works perfectly with Tyranitar, right? Because you have 70 active, 30 into bench. Let's say you're gonna do switch. You will put Tyranitar after this. That's 60 damage onto a benched Pokemon. So I think it even might get rid of, you know, Umbreon or Sylveon, and this is gonna be the support everyone's gonna play. How about the GX attack? Sublimation GX. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast, it's knocked out. Buzzwole, right? Necrozmas. And it only needs one Fairy type and one Colorless. It deals with so many things. And I think this might be the card you wanna, maybe not wanna pull on your pre-release, but this is the card you want to pull for your standard deck. Especially if you're playing around the unit energy that has Fairy type. Oh, this is gonna be great. And I think this Fairy type is gonna be brewed a lot throughout the next few months. Of course, you're gonna say, yeah, but Zoroark is playing everywhere. But imagine Zoroark with Tyranitar. Bam. And I know people are not, you know, not adjusting that fast in if it goes to, you know, regionals, because, you know, you've got your high value cards, you've spent a lot of money on those, so why you should buy new cards, right? And I understand that completely. I know I don't want, if I would spend that amount of money on cards, I wouldn't want to change my deck. I would want to just upgrade it and still play those Zoroarks, Buzzwoles, Lycanrocs, because I've spent money on that. But that's what we're gonna see definitely here. The one thing, there's one card that I actually wanted to talk about, and I don't think it is in the set. I don't see it in the set. That was Macargo GX. We might see it in the next set, but the Macargo GX is something that we know sees a lot of play in Japan, so it might also see a lot of play here in Europe, here in the United States, in the rest of the world, basically. So those are my top 5 cards from Lost Thunder. Thank you guys so much for watching this. You can click subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, because this helps me, and you can watch us maybe not right now, but Monday to Friday, 9 AM CET on Twitch. Oh, I've almost dropped it. On Twitch when we are playing Pokemon TCGO, and down there below in the panel, Twitch Mind, down there below you also have a 5% discount link for codes on Professor Oak, so you can click on that, have a 5% discount, support the store, support me, and you get a code and you get amazing cards. You can buy, for example, the Rayquaza pre-release kit, like the code for the whole kit online. It's like $150 with the 5% discount, because normally it's like $170. So amazing. You want to do that. Thank you guys so much, and see you guys online. See you guys on Twitch. Bye bye. Love you, my Team Raven. Love you, my Team Raven.